Hello everyone, I welcome all of you in this wonderful program which is jointly organized by GSTV and HB Kapadia group of schools. Pass Thawanu Panchamrit. In our last two sessions, last two episodes, we have talked about different things, important things that were the paper style, their blueprint, the paper pattern. I have also given you some most important question answers. Then we also discuss about how to write the section A, the MCQ tips. In this session, we are going to do something very different. I am going to serve you the very important thing of the whole session. We all know very well that before going into the war, we sharp our weapons. Today's session is going to sharpen your weapons. So get ready with your weapons to get sharpened, and we will be discussing about the points to be considered while examination, during examination. जब आप एग्जाम में जाते हैं, जब पेपर आपके हाथ में आता है, उसके बाद में आप क्या स्टार्ट करते हैं, तो वो सब चीजें आज यहाँ पे डिस्कस होने वाली है. If these points are not taken care of, then this is going to be a problematic situation for all of us. So please note down each and everything that I am going to tell you about today's points. So let's start. Points to be considered. Number 1, importance of textbook. I have seen that students do not have the importance of textbook. They all are running behind the reference books, the materials, the notes of the classes and the faculties. But dear student, trust me, textbook is everything. You can say textbook is the Bible. If you learn the textbook thoroughly, if you go through all the points properly, then this would be a better advantage for you. You do not need any other material for that. So please mark my words, if you are preparing for your examination, only go through textbooks. The language written in the textbook is very comfortable. The points written are to the point. There is no extra additions in that. Then the next point is receiving the question paper. Dear students, after you receive the question paper, it is very important that you go through the whole question paper properly. Many of the students yet do not know that the board timing is not 3 hours, but 3 hours and 15 minutes. The boards, the government is giving you extra 15 minutes to revise the paper, because students are making mistakes continuously when they do not read the paper properly. So in those 15 minutes when you receive the question paper, I request all of you to go through all the points properly. Just check it out which questions you know and which you don't. In section A, you must know that which question is going to be answered for which point, which is the answer of which question. These things you have to make it in advance. The reason is, when you will start writing the paper, this will take only 10 to 15 minutes to complete section A and B. So I request all of you to go through all the paper. One more thing, if you will check the paper, you will come to know the level of difficulty of the paper, which questions are asked, which answers you know very well, so you can plan well in advance of what you are going to attempt. The next point is writing the answer in sequence. Many students are not writing the answers in sequence. What they do is, first they write question number 23, 24 we don't know the answer, so we go to 25 or we shift to 26. This is wrong. If you don't know the answer, you leave the space. You write 23, you don't know the answer, you leave the space and you start with 24 number. If you recall your answer that हाँ मुझे याद आ गया, तो you can come back and you can write the answer. Otherwise you can leave it. There is no negative marking for leaving the blank space. You got the point? So don't do that mistake. One more reason to this is, when you jumble the answers, that first 23, then 26, then 29, then 22, the examiner, the paper checker who is going to check your paper will get irritated, and this is going to affect his checking. And we cannot blame anyone, because we are the one who have made this mistake. So I request all of you to write the answers in the sequence. Alright. The next is rule for writing differences. In my first session only I discussed this point, but still I am stressing on this point once again. Dear students, when they are asking you the difference, no need to write 5 or 6 or 8 points. If they are asking you the difference in 3 marks, write only 3 points. But the only condition is that you should write with proper reason. You should give the proper reason for which you are writing this answer. If you are writing any point, you should write the reason behind this. Let me give you an example. There is a difference between qualitative and quantitative, economic growth, economic development. We say economic growth is quantitative and economic development is qualitative. But why? You have to give the reason in this. Only writing it is qualitative, it is quantitative, this is not sufficient. You have to give a reason for this. Alright? Next point, writing the paper. When you write the paper, yes, we refer that you are going to fight a battle, but that should not be looking in your paper. That should not put on your paper like so many scratchings, so many cuttings. Nah, do not make your paper ugly. That should look beautiful. Make sure you are not making any scratchings or cuttings. You are not using any whiteners, any other color pen or any other color pencil for presentation. So when you write the paper, leave the space between the answers. This should look proper, presentable, and this is going to affect the mentality of the checker and you will get a very good marks, right? With this, the following things we will talk about. So dear students, there is a time of a short break. We will meet after this break and discuss further. Welcome back, dear students. Let us not waste our time and we start with our topic. Let's start. Now the point is answer in points. When you answer the question, particularly in section D and E, there are long answers. Do not write it in the essay manner, the big paragraph manner. This is the very improper way of writing. If the long answers are asked, you have to write in proper point. You can use those points, you can use bullets, you can use asterisk points to display your points. This looks presentable and you get full marks for those answers. The next is use of statistical data. Dear students, you think that these much papers are there to check. Who will take care of such small data in our answers? So this is wrong. The paper setter checks each and everything in your paper. So when you are damn confident about your data, then only you put it on the paper. And when you are very much sure that my data is totally correct, numerical data, anything, you have to underline it. If you will underline it, this will look presentable. The checker will see that you have written the data and you will get good marks for those answers. Use of statistical data. After that, underline the important words. It's not only about underlining the data, but in section D and section E, you have to underline all the important word or sentence if you have written in a very proper manner and you want checkers to check those things. So you have to underline those things. For this, we have a trick. When you write the paper, keep a pencil on your left hand. As soon as you finish the answer, you just take the pencil and you underline it. Why? You can even do this in the last moment of the paper, but after a lot of experience, I have observed that students do not get sufficient time for presentation in the last moments. कुछ ना कुछ रह ही जाता है, ये आंसर रह गया, वो आंसर रह गया, उसमें प्रेजेंटेशन आपका प्रॉपर नहीं हो पाता है. तो आपने आंसर के साथ में जितने भी प्रेजेंटेशन कर दिए वो कर दिए, और जो आपने प्रेजेंटेशन किया है, you are going to get the full marks for those presentations if your answer is correct. Got the point? So next, reading the question paper. I have told you earlier also that you should read the question paper, as in when you write the answer, you should tick mark in the question paper also. But one more thing, let me clear. Do not write anything other than this tick mark, because this may come to copy case for you. This may put you into the trouble. So do not write anything on the question paper other than taking mark the questions, and take only those questions which you have already attempted, answers for which you have already written. Got the point? Next, rule for writing section A. We have discussed in our first episode about the tips for writing section A, but still I am telling you one more thing for this. When you are attempting the section A part, MCQ part, question number 1, there are 4 options. You know that the answer is B. Many students in hurry, they make mistake. They will write B option, but the answer would be of C. This may become the common issue. I have seen in lots of students this problem has been made. So make sure that you are writing the exact option and you are writing the exact answer. Questions, no need to write, but when you write the answers, you have to write like this: answer 1, option B, and the exact answer to it. This is the proper way of writing section A. Got the point? Rule for writing section B. In section B, you have to take care of 2-3 things, like number 1, it should be to the point. Number 2, if definitions are asked, you have to give examples with that. And the words in section B should not be more than 30 words. Please keep such things in your mind when you attempt section B. Rules for writing section C. Here also your answer must be to the point, but one thing I'd like to add. If they're asking you the types point, means types of migration, here you should use the flow charts. This will make it very beautiful and presentable. And this is the reason you might be thinking, sir, इसमें तो हमारा बहुत time waste हो जाएगा, हम ऐसे कैसे manage करेंगे? This is the reason why all of us are forcing, we are stressing on writing lots and lots paper. Writing practice is very important. आपको पूरा पेपर आता होगा, बट इफ आपने राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस सफिशिएंट नहीं की है तो वो पेपर आपका छूट जाएगा सब कुछ आने के बाद में भी. इसीलिए ये पॉइंट्स हम लोग आज यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. अंडरस्टूड? सो सी सेक्शन के अंदर आप टू द पॉइंट लिखेंगे, जितना पूछा है उसका आंसर. अगर लिस्ट करने को बोला है तो लिस्ट करना है, मेंशन करने को बोला है मेंशन ही करना है. स्टेट, लिस्ट, मेंशन, इसमें आपको स्टेट करना रहता है. वहां पे सुपरवाइजर से पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है कि इसमें एक्सप्लेन करना है कि स्टेट करना है. ये आपको अपना विजडम यूज करना है. कितने मार्क्स में पूछा है, मुझे कितने मार्क्स में इसका आंसर देना है. नेक्स्ट, रूल फॉर राइटिंग सेक्शन डी. यहाँ पे आंसर्स का लेंथ जो है वो बढ़ जाएगा और एटलीस्ट एक पेज जितना तो आपका आंसर होने ही वाला है. नाउ डिपेंड्स ऑन द क्वालिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. अगर क्वेश्चन डिमांड कर रहा है कि आपको 1.5 पेज लिखने की जरूरत है तो शायद आपको वहां पे लिखना भी पड़ेगा. तो सामने दूसरे क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होंगे जो छोटे छोटे होंगे, जो 75% पेज भर के हो जाएंगे. वन वेरी सीरियस एंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग जो आपने कभी पहले नहीं सुनी होगी, सेक्शन डी के अंदर हर क्वेश्चन के बाद में यू हैव टू टेक अ न्यू पेज. यस, इन सेक्शन डी एंड इन सेक्शन ई, न्यू क्वेश्चन यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम न्यू पेज, बिकॉज वैसे भी एक पेज तो आपका ऑलमोस्ट फिल होने ही वाला है. So there should not be any chance of mistake. You start the new chapter, new question from new page. Section D के अंदर there is no need of any introduction or any conclusion जो हमें E में जरूरत पड़ने वाली है. जितना आपको आंसर पूछा है उसका कंटेंट आप अच्छे से दे दीजिए. अगर चार्ट्स डायग्राम है तो लिखिए, डेटाज है तो वो लिखिए. इस तरीके से आपका आंसर एकदम फुलफिल हो जाएगा. When we talk about the rule for writing section E, here you have to concentrate what I'm saying. Section E में आप लोगों को सबसे पहले देना पड़ेगा इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट. इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर there is meaning, the definition. If 2 or more definitions are given, you should write. If the name of the economist is mentioned, you should write if you have it in your mind. And then you start the content. The content part, and that also should not be in essay form. पूरा पेज भर दिया. No, in proper points. This will look very presentable and इसके आपको पूरे मार्क्स मिलेंगे. But यहीं पे खत्म नहीं होता है. After this, you will have to give a conclusion part. अब तुम बोलोगे सर आपको तो पूरा एक ही इसके अंदर 5 मार्क के अंदर सब कुछ ले लेना है, तो बेटा 5 मार्कर्स है. ये इसका वैल्यू है. और इसीलिए मैंने आपको पहले ही बता दिया था फर्स्ट पार्ट में ही कि आप ब्लूप्रिंट देखिए, आपको पूरी टेक्स्ट बुक कहाँ लर्न करने की जरूरत है. If you follow only those chapters from which 5 markers are going to ask, you just learn one page from those chapters. Hardly 5 pages you have to learn from those 5 chapters, and your E section would be secured, safe and secure. Understood? So this is E section, and do not forget, I have told you before also, that you have to underline the important words, sentence or data, whatever you write. Okay? After this, do not use your own words. But we have the textbook. I have told you before also, do not use own words. You learn from textbook and then you write. You put all those typical words in the answer. This will attract the checker and you will attract the marks. So simple. The last question is graph, but there are some more points which I want to discuss. So before that, it's time to take a short break. Do not go anywhere. We will discuss that after this break. Students, let's start with the topic without wasting our time. The last part is, last question is graph. We all need to remember the graph is going to be asked in our last section and last question. When you are writing the graph, some following things has to be taken care of. You must write the heading, the scale, the key in the graph. You cannot avoid that because each of them carries half marks. After that, you draw the graph very neat and clean using scale and pencil. You point properly. You represent the x-axis and y-axis. And when you are writing the conclusion part, the analysis part, in analysis, first point must be starting with x-axis and y-axis. What is represented on x-axis and what on y-axis. Then you have to write 2, 3, 4 and 5 points completely. Don't think that in 3 points we will finish the graph, that is okay. No, that is not okay. All the points are countable. So you have to write the 5 points, in which first part is compulsory about x and y axis. After writing 5 points, you have to write the conclusion part of what is the conclusion of this question. Then only you are going to get the full 5 marks. I give you the assurity for that. And now we look towards the miscellaneous points. Number 1, leave space if you don't know the answer. ये हम आपको पहले बताया था कि अगर आपको 22 नंबर का क्वेश्चन नहीं आया तो वहां पे लीव स्पेस कर दीजिए. 34 नंबर हो या 36 नंबर हो, क्वेश्चन नहीं पता, आप स्पेस वहां पे लीव कर दीजिए और आगे कंटिन्यू कीजिए. रिकॉल हुआ, वापस आके लिख दिया, नहीं हुआ तो कोई बात नहीं. नंबर 2, do not waste time in thinking. कई बार हमने सुपरविजन में देखा है, स्टूडेंट्स कहीं वादियों में खो जाते हैं. ये रिस्क आप ले ही नहीं सकते. आपके पास एकदम लिमिटेड टाइम है, उस पॉइंट पे भी अभी आने वाले हैं. सो डू नॉट वेस्ट योर टाइम इन थिंकिंग. ये थिंकिंग वाला काम आपको स्टार्टिंग के 15 मिनट्स में करना था. समझ में आया? तो जिसने ये पास थवानु पंचामृत नहीं देखा ना, वो ऐसे ही वादियों में खोया हुआ रहेगा. नेक्स्ट, कीप पेंसिल इन योर लेफ्ट हैंड एंड अंडरलाइन द इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स ऑन द स्पॉट आफ्टर फिनिशिंग द आंसर. ये मैं आपको पहले बोल चुका हूं, मुझे पता है, लेकिन टीचर आदत है रिविजन, तो ये रिवाइज कर लो कि ये आपको अंडरलाइन हाथ के हाथ करते रहना है. नेक्स्ट, देयर इज नो पॉइंट ऑफ राइटिंग द लेफ्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चन ऑन द लास्ट पेज. बहुत सारे बच्चे सलमान खान होते हैं, लिख दिया और फिर लास्ट के अंदर जाकर के फिर वापस उसके अंदर लिखते हैं. कोई क्वेश्चन अगर बाकी रह गया, एंड मोमेंट पे लास्ट पेज पे क्वेश्चन लिखने का कोई पॉइंट नहीं है, उसको कोई चेक नहीं करने वाला है. टिक मार्क द क्वेश्चन इन क्वेश्चन पेपर एज सून एज इट्स रिटन. डन. Now please focus here. Distribution of 3 hours time. Section A and B आपको 10 minutes में finish करने पड़ेंगे. Section C in only 30 minutes. Section D in 60 minutes. Section E 65 minutes. और इतने के बाद में भी I am giving you time for revision of 15 minutes. ये revision क्या है? पेपर लिखने के बाद भी चेक करना हमने क्या लिखा है, सब बराबर हो गया है, जो लिखा उसको हमने टिक कर दिया है प्रॉपरली. इससे एरर के चांसेस 0 हो जाते हैं और आप एक सक्सेसफुल पेपर लिख करके बाहर निकलते हैं. डियर स्टूडेंट्स, इन अवर लास्ट चार्ट, दैट मिसलेनियस चार्ट, आपको पता चल ही गया होगा कि वो कितना इंपॉर्टेंट था, भले नाम उसका मिसलेनियस क्यों ना हो. जो टाइम मैनेजमेंट मैंने आपको बताया है उसका आपको पूरा ध्यान रखना है। अभी से जब आप पेपर लिखना स्टार्ट करते हैं तो आप अपने साथ में घड़ी रखिए, वॉच रख करके उसके ऊपर वॉच भी रखिए कि क्या मैं उस टाइमिंग के अंदर अपने सेक्शंस पूरे कर पा रहा हूं। अगर नहीं तो शार्प योर स्किल्स ऑफ राइटिंग and do it. You complete it within the time. And one more thing, do not leave any question untouched. You have to touch all the questions, you have to attempt all the questions even if you do not know anything about that. चैप्टर के बारे में तो पता है, कंटेंट तो लिख ही सकते हो, बट उसे छोड़ना मत। अब बात करते हैं टॉप 3 ऑप्शंस की, जो मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताया था कि मैंने स्टूडेंट्स की कैटेगरी 3 अलग अलग डिवाइड कर दी है, जिसको जैसे मार्क्स चाहिए वो उस ऑप्शन को फॉलो कर सकते हैं। यहाँ पे है ऑप्शन नंबर 1, जिसमें मैंने इजी चैप्टर्स को कंबाइन किया है। पास थवानु पंचामृत, तुमको तो पास होने से मतलब है, जिनको सिर्फ पास होने से मतलब है वो ऑप्शन 1 को फॉलो कर सकते हैं। इजी टॉप चैप्टर, चैप्टर नंबर 3, 7 एंड 11, सिर्फ इतना करके आपके 15, 15, 30 प्लस 10, 40 मार्क्स तो आपके खाली 3 चैप्टर से हो गए, प्लस 17 मार्क्स के एमसीक्यू, मतलब 57 मार्क्स अगर आप प्रिपेयर करते जाते हैं तो 35 तो आपके आराम से आ जाएंगे। सो विदाउट फोकसिंग ऑन इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स which I had given you in my previous session, by only preparing 3 chapters, students can easily pass. Understood? We talk about the option number 2. Those students who want to secure first class marks, कि भाई minimum 60-65 तो आने चाहिए। Important chapters 7 and 11, जिसका वेटेज है 30 मार्क्स, देन 18 MCQs, उसके 2 MCQ एक्सक्लूड करके, तो 30 प्लस 18 मेक्स इट 48। देन मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट FAQs जो मैंने आपको बताए थे, वैसे तो वो बहुत ज्यादा मार्क्स में आने वाले हैं, मैं बैर मिनिमम लेता हूं 20 मार्क्स, तो भी यू कैन सी कि आप फर्स्ट क्लास मार्क्स आराम से सिक्योर कर सकते हैं। ओनली फ्रॉम 2 चैप्टर्स, textual MCQs and FAQs, students can achieve 60 to 65 marks. Now we talk about the third option for the students who want to achieve distinction or even more marks. Taking easy chapters into consideration, chapter number 1, 3, 7, 8, 11, सिर्फ इन्हीं का टोटल बेटा 60 मार्क्स हो जाता है। इसके अलावा 17 MCQs जो टेक्सचुअल एक्सरसाइज अपन करने वाले हैं, एंड इंपॉर्टेंट FAQs, अगर बैर मिनिमम 20 मार्क्स भी गिने तो बेटा 90 अप आपका टोटल प्रिपरेशन हो जाता है। एनालिसिस, फोकसिंग ऑन इजीएस्ट 5 चैप्टर, स्टूडेंट्स कैन अचीव द डिस्टिंक्शन। राइट, सो आई होप जो भी टिप्स मैंने यहाँ पे आपको दी है, जो भी हमने डिस्कस किया है, वो काफी आपके लिए फ्रूटफुल रहा होगा। प्लीज जब भी अब आप प्रिपरेशन करने बैठते हैं तो मेरे इन सभी पॉइंट का ध्यान रखना। ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ बोर्ड में ही आपको इसका यूज करना है, प्रैक्टिस आपको अभी से करनी पड़ेगी, तब जाकर के बोर्ड में आप इसको इंप्लीमेंट कर सकोगे। राइट, सो फॉर द बेस्ट, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर बीइंग विद अस, ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर एग्जामिनेशंस।